Another thing I just wanted to quick mention is I really enjoyed in one of your recent videos where you went to great lengths to explain how people can unsubscribe or stop your channel from showing up. I think
Yeah.
that's great. You should do a reoccurring segment on that.
I mean, you can understand, like, if you're the kind of person that watches certain kind of videos, you're going to get things recommended to you. And do you want the vinyl douche constantly showing up in your feed or on your homepage? Like, I
Yeah.
totally get it. I'm here to help. Welcome back again. Another edition of Snob versus Douche. Yeah, we're here. We're gonna talk about kind of the 2023 year-end discussion. We're basically going to be unveiling our top 20s to each other. By the time this video is up, you may have seen I'll have my list video that will post just prior to this going up. Yeah, so we're gonna go through, talk about our top 20, talk about 2023 in general, and that's gonna be it. How you doing?
Doing good. It was an interesting year for sure. As I said in our last video, really pushed myself this year, listening to way more music, trying to keep up with you and your, I'm listening to 5 new records a day pace.
Mm-hmm.
And so curious, you actually did a top 20 this year, not a top 75 like you had previously?
I did top 75, and I actually finished.
Okay.
I actually just finished making that video yesterday, and then finally getting it to be ready to go up, which took. If you knew the amount of hours I spent on that video per view, you'd tell me to get a part-time job or something, because it's like, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to do. I spent a lot of time doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't, it's like, do I think anyone cares? Maybe a few people care, but I kind of like doing it. But then at some point, it's like,
it's just too much.
It's a lot of time. It's a lot of time to do that. And also like when I assemble my list, like manually, on paper or it's on a spreadsheet. When I'm compiling my list and making my list, it looks like something on paper. But then when you make a video, I don't make the list thinking about the video, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So it's kind of jarring. Sometimes the music is very different, one track to one selection to the next. Anyway,
sure.
Kind of taking us into a tangent on that. But yeah, I did finish mine. It is top 75. This video, we're going to talk about our top 20. Because in my other video, which will have just come out earlier this week, I believe, there's no discussion. It's just a list. It's just a list being unveiled.
Sure.
And I also, just one thing, when I did it, I'm weeding things down to try and get this order. And my original 75, as I was trying, or it's not, it never really is 75 at the beginning. It's, like some larger list that's getting weeded down, had some electronic albums and some, I guess what I'm trying to say is some other genres. And I wasn't happy with what was being left out. So I decided my list is strictly indie, whatever you want to call that. Yep. That's all. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
As we get into this, how many albums do you think we will have that overlap in the top 20?
Yeah, that would be interesting. Probably a fourth is my guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was going to say 3. That was going to be my 3 albums.
Well, I mean, that's not that far off. That's
yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
New difference.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, it is what it is. I did a video where I talked about the 10 albums that I streamed the most.
Yep, I watched that.
Yeah, where I talked about those, and there's a few of those that aren't on my top 20. They're just outside my top 20. There's a lot of like heavy hitters, I would say, that don't that I thought would be in there, but didn't make it, just because there's just some maybe there's some elements of newer things kind of get you more excited. Um, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, and I pick it, I should probably preface, and if you look back at our original video, I explained how I do this stuff. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
still actually reviewing track by track, just like I did back at the radio station. So I'm
Yeah.
actually applying a little bit of math to my review process, but I don't really, I take that into account, but I'm not just, running a report to arrive at my top 20. I'm considering the top 20 records that I wanted to go back to, that I enjoyed the most from the year, regardless of how many tracks are on it that I really dug, if that makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's, it is what it is. These are
A
for me,
complete
it's
waste
like,
of time.
yeah, for me, it's a complete waste of time. But it is 20 albums that I listen to, because I don't, as we say over and over, like, you can't listen to everything. I'm
Yep.
not saying these are the 20 best albums. These are my
Okay.
favorite. These are my favorite
Yeah.
albums. As I made a list over a week ago.
A snapshot
It's
of
a
that week.
snapshot. It's a
What your favorites
snapshot.
were.
It's a snapshot in time.
Yes.
All the disclaimers, flashing red lights, but it's fun to kind of,
It is.
talk about. And then even like to go back, I would just say, if I go back and think about 2021 and just looking at the top 5 albums that I picked in 2021, even when I made it, I can remember thinking I could have these be in any order. Like, I kept switching the order of my number one
Yeah.
was like four of those albums at different points as I was making the list.
Yeah,
So
we're
a lot of it is
spending a lot of energy on really stupid shit.
Exactly.
That does not matter, right? And we understand that. Yeah.
Exactly. So there you have it. So should we proceed with the unveiling?
Yeah, let's proceed. Why don't you let me go first?
Okay.
Because then your number one will be last, I think, if I've got that order right. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so top 20, we're going to go from bottom to top. My number 20 is a record from the band Purling Hiss, called Dragon Gerard. Came out on Drag City earlier this year. And I don't remember, I think it's their third release maybe, or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but definitely, an entry from the cult of Dinosaur Jr. This is a very heavily Dinosaur Jr. influenced rock band out of, I think, Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken. But just heavy, fun, quick record, and a great band name. And yeah, I mean, you can't argue with that. So that was my number 20. Did you partake? Have you listened to that one?
I listened to it. I don't think that I listened to it very much, though.
Yeah.
I do agree with some of what you're saying with the Dinosaur Jr. Yeah, a little bit Dinosaur Jr. in there. It is a good band name. Drag City.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's your number 20. My number 20 is the Norway band called the High Watermarks, and the album is Your Next Wolf. It's their 5th LP. It's probably best known for featuring Hillary Sidney from Apples in Stereo, founding member of the Elephant Six. The album really sounds a lot like Apples in Stereo to a certain extent, and yeah, to me they just keep hitting it with the really catchy tunes over and over again.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
You
listened to
listen
that one. Yep, I heard that one, and it was a recommendation from you. I was not aware of them previously. Yeah, I dug it. It didn't make my list, but the next one.
Let's.
Go ahead.
Should we say if it? I'm trying to think of. Should we say if it
Oh,
makes
just
our
to not
list?
give spoilers, as if someone's on the edge of their seat listening.
Yeah, there's somebody on the edge of their seat.
Yeah. To leave the room and not watch anymore.
All right. Go ahead.
So number 19 for me, another band that I got it from you as a recommendation.
Okay.
I think from one of the videos, but Reds, Pinks, and Purples. The Town That Cursed Your Name off of Slumberland Records. I don't know. I think maybe fourth record. You probably have more awareness than me. Fourth full length from this guy based out of San Fran. Just really great.
Glenn Donaldson is his name.
Donaldson.
He's very prolific. I don't know how many albums.
He is.
He
has
a lot of EPs and singles and yeah.
I just got a notification from Bandcamp today that he just released another single, so with 3 songs on it. So got to check that out. But he's great. Got to backtrack a bit on that one too. I got a lot to listen there. Just another great indie power pop record from this guy. I really dug it. A lot of great songs on it. Just really catchy, good stuff.
Yeah, I really like that one as well. It didn't make my top 20.
Spoiler.
But it is on my larger list. So my number 19 is kind of a veteran or a legendary singer-songwriter, 10th LP. And I think this one, I don't know if I know your thought. I'm not sure if you're even a fan. So it's PJ Harvey's album, I Inside the Old Year Dying. I think that this one is a little bit polarizing. It's not super accessible, I would certainly say. I don't really have anything to say about it, except I feel like it's one that grows on you. I feel like down the road, like years from now, I'll appreciate it more even than I do now. I could be wrong. Maybe I'll dislike it. No, but I think that I'd like it more. I'm a big PJ Harvey fan. I don't know. I will say I moved this one around quite a bit on my list, and ultimately this was the highest in the bouncing around that it did. So I went with it. What did you think of this album? You don't like it?
No, I liked it. It definitely, it's one of those records that has, I mean, she's an artist, right? I mean, she's very unique talent. I am a big fan as well, but granted, like there are a number of records that are not accessible, and this is one of them. I would say I think probably the least accessible is probably White Chalk in my mind. There's a very falsetto delivery in that one, and I just couldn't get into it. And this one just kind of falls in line with that. But yeah, I love a lot of her records. But I agree with you. I had the same thought in that, okay, well, if I listen to this more, if I had time to listen to this more, but I got all these records to listen to, I probably would end up enjoying it quite a bit. And I did even go back to it once or twice and listen to it. And each time I listened to it, I liked it a little bit more. Still didn't have the gut punchers that I was looking for, that I always look for. Just the really, great, resonant songs that I'm usually expecting.
Yeah, it doesn't have like the singles. It doesn't have like the singles, like the hit singles. I don't know, hit in quote of the last couple records for sure.
Yeah, it's more of a piece of art that you listen to and enjoy if you could really focus on it. But so yeah, I didn't probably didn't get enough plays, but yeah, definitely a good record. I don't think I would have placed it anywhere near the top 20, but good stuff by her.
Okay.
Number 18 is Nation of Language. The album is Strange Disciple, out on Played Against Sam Records. It's just great poppy 80s influenced new wave, or 80s new wave influenced indie rock or indie pop. Just really dug it. I think it's maybe their second or third record. I'm not completely sure on that, but really good stuff.
Yeah, it's their third record.
Third record. Okay.
I like them too. I find I get the sense that they're kind of maybe polarizing. I know a lot of people don't like 80s music, which
Yep.
is, I mean, that's definitely what they're rooted in.
Yeah.
But I like them a lot. I saw them for the second album.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
My 18 is another. I think at the beginning of this, I said how I kind of leaning towards all the like newer artists, and now here's another a very long running band called The Clientele. So their seventh album, called I Am Not There Anymore, on Merge Records. British band. They've been around since the early 90s. But I don't think I became aware of them until towards the end of the 90s.
Me too. Yep.
Yeah, I think I was almost surprised how much I liked this album. And I don't know why, because I do like the band. I felt like it was like a reinvigorated band,
yeah,
on some level. Yeah.
And that certainly was the press around it as well. I think you could obviously hear that sort of a reinvigorated passion for what they were doing. And not, completely different, but just slightly a different approach to, music making from them. That one did not, I liked it a lot. But it's got a lot of peaks and valleys in it, in that it has, a lot of instrumental numbers and little clips in the middle, and, they do a lot of songs with talking in the background and things like that. So,
right.
It didn't jive with me as well as some of their previous albums, but definitely, a nice piece of art from them. It didn't make my list, but I did enjoy it as well.
All right.
Number 17. Yeah, we're on 17. Hotline TNT, their album Cartwheel, that just recently came out on Third Man Records. They, I think they're a New York band. The lead singer's from Wisconsin or something like that. They've gotten a lot of recent acclaim for this new record, and I just think that the reason for that is it's a great mix of it's a indie rock that is highly influenced by shoegaze and just 90s indie rock, and it just scratches an itch that people are missing, and a lot of great songs. I think that since it just came out so recently, I could probably spend some more time with it and actually enjoy it more, but it was good enough for to land at number 17 for me. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like that one. I talked about that in a recent video. Nonetheless, yeah, I enjoy it, and yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people. I really do think that album could become a kind of a big deal. It has it. I feel like it ticks a lot of boxes that I think that a lot of people would like.
Yep.
All right, my number 17 is the debut album from Sabrina Teitelbaum, who goes by the name Blonde Shell, and so it's self-titled album. This is another one. I think that she's gained a fair amount of popularity. I don't know. It's kind of a grunge. It's almost like grunge pop revival with her like competently played grunge pop, but with her like her vocals and her lyrics, I think really are what make this record for me. It's, for some reason, they really landed with me. They really, which is kind of weird because she's like we couldn't be further apart. But yeah, I don't know. And she opened for Liz Phair on her Exile in Guyville 30th anniversary tour.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and yeah, there's definitely some parallels there, I guess. Anyway, I like that record. I don't know. I know that you previously had said you didn't care for it.
Well, so I tried listening to it early on in 2023, but after you gave it a good review, I tried again.
Yeah.
And I did. I downloaded it and reviewed it, and I do dig it. I'm a sucker for any '90s influenced female fronted band, so I got to it. There's something that doesn't sit right with me, like it's slightly manufactured or something, but yeah,
I can see that
collection.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah. Okay. So number 16 for me, band by the name of Screaming Females. Their most recent record is called Desire Pathway, out on Don Giovanni Records. It's actually their last record, as they just recently broke up. They're a band out of New Jersey, female led. It's recommended if you like really heavy, epic guitar rock. Great lyrics with this group. Interesting vocal delivery. I would guess that you are not a fan or did not listen to it. It doesn't seem like it's up your alley, but maybe I'm completely wrong. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I did listen to it. I like them. It's probably not my favorite kind of thing. So you're probably right in a sense there. But yeah, I do like it.
Yeah,
that album.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, it's slightly more hard rock influenced than I would normally go to, but really good nonetheless. And I grew up listening to shitty 80s metal. So, there's some range there, but anyway. What's your next one?
Yeah, so my number 16 is from an Oakland duo called the 1981. And the album is called Move On. It's just I'd say indie pop out of the Bay Area. There's a lot of really good bands out of San Francisco Bay Area, Reds, Pinks, and Purples, who you mentioned earlier. There's other ones I think coming. Debut record. I think it's kind of somewhat of a concept album again, but it's I think it works well as just a 12-track pop record. I don't have anything really insightful to say. It just grabbed me the right way at the right time.
Yep. That was another one I think you mentioned in one of our previous videos. So I took note and did my homework, and it almost made my top 20. I did
almost
really
made
enjoy
it.
So
you did like that one.
Yeah, really good. And again, all these are new bands to me, and they've have multiple records. I'm never going to be able to catch up and listen to their previous records, which is really irritating me. My next one is you got some visitors behind you. Why don't you pull him aside and just ask him real quick what his number one record is? Okay, so my next one is Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit came out with their new record, Weather Vanes, out on his record label, Southeastern. it's seventh record for him and his band, his backing band 400 Unit. He is formerly of the Drive-By Truckers. I could no longer ignore the overwhelming chorus of critical acclaim that he has been getting over the past, 5-10 years. And finally broke down and started listening to it, started letting some more Americana stuff back into my life, as I used to be a fan, and it just got away from it. But this definitely is a high quality record. He's one of the better songwriters in that genre, really in any genre out there these days, doing the work. And yeah, good stuff.
So you hadn't listened, like you weren't like a long running Jason Isbell fan until this album?
No, and I've never really put any effort into listening to the Drive-By Truckers either, which probably would make a handful of people scoff. But
yeah, I like the early Drive-By Truckers records. I like those, but I think I would just say I never really spent very much time with any of these Jason Isbell. I mean, I've listened to several of them, but I've never spent a lot of time with them for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it came on in the car. Me and my wife were driving around yesterday. It came on in the car, and she was like, "Do you like this?" Because it's it's pretty straight ahead country sounding, or a lot of it is. But it's just, there's something undeniable about his talent. He's just got a way of telling stories in his songs that it's good stuff. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I know. Has a lot of fans. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Is that your number 15?
That is my number 15. Yeah.
Yeah. So my number 15. I'm starting to realize that I started this by saying that these are all like leaning towards the newer artists are forging their ways to the top. This is the solo debut album, but of the founding member of the band Lush. So it's Emma Anderson, and the album is called Pearlies. It's just kind of lovely, slow burning, dream pop with some folk elements in it. I don't know if you like Lush.
I do.
I feel like if you like Lush, this is worth checking out. I was very happy at the quality of this solo release from Emma Anderson. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I think I picked up on that one from one of your videos that you mentioned, that you covered it, and went out there, downloaded it, and checked it out. And I do like it quite a bit as well. She's not as confident in her vocal delivery, and you can certainly tell that it was music that she meant for to be some sort of reunion for Lush. There's some, pretty high quality tracks in there. I dug it. It just wasn't like the vocals don't come to the top, and it didn't thrill me that much, but definitely decent stuff. Certainly if you're a Lush fan, you should check it out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. So number 14 is the new record from Julie Byrne, called Greater Wings, out on Ghostly International. It's her third full-length release. She is a indie folkish singer songwriter based out of NYC. A much mellower, melancholic record for me on my list this year. I kind of have made an effort to stay away from sad music because it's just not where I'm at. It's not what I'm digging these days. But this is probably my one exception on the 20 list for this year. Just such high. It was too exceptional to ignore. Like, just the songs are great, and just great somber mood to it. I dug it. What was your? Did you listen to this one?
So I did, but I didn't spend very much time with it. It really seems like
Okay.
one that I need to spend more time with. I can
Yeah,
think of a
it's a
few.
good headphones record for sure.
I can think of a few others. I can't think of the names of the top of my head. I'm not going to be able to think of it. That I think kind of are in that same ilk.
Sure.
That I think I would probably like if I spent more time with them. I guess is
Yep.
kind of what I'd say. All right, so my number 14 is is from Yola Tengo, their 17th album called This Stupid World. So, you know, American indie rock legends. Uh,
Yep.
I think it's one of their most well-rounded LPs in many years. I guess I would say. Can certainly see where people, Yola Tango, some of their albums are much different than others, and so this one maybe is a little more difficult in some ways for some people. But I loved it.
You're talking
Thought
about
it was
me.
really good. Thought it was really good. Not just you,
Yeah.
but yeah, I know.
No.
I remember you don't like kind of the kind of noodling.
Yeah, the quieter vocals. I like
Yeah.
the vocals that are a little bit more
Up front.
Yeah, up front.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, no, I listened to this record and I did enjoy it. I just had higher expectations for it for whatever reason, and that's not their fault. That's my fault. So yeah, it's a great record. I certainly don't know that it deserves to be ranked as high as it has been across many of the top 20 or 50 or 100 lists out there. But solid stuff from a great band, so can't complain there. Next up for me is another one that we talked about early on in the year, Islands of Love, their self-titled debut called Islands of Love, and out on Third Man Records again. And they're a group out of London. They just play great heavy indie rock. Again, a lot of Dinosaur Jr. and sort of I would say mid 90s indie rock influences here. Yeah, just another good 90s rock itch scratcher from this band. Good stuff.
Yeah, and so yeah, we did talk about that in a separate video. That album, I liked it. I don't think I liked it as much as you, certainly, but yeah, good record. My number 13, right? Yeah, my number 13. This is a Manchester band called Sumos, and the album is called Surfacing. They call themselves Scuzz Pop. I think that's how they describe themselves, or people coming up behind me now. I think of like Not a Surf, like post 2000 or 2001, Not a Surf, in that kind of power pop thing, but not as slick maybe, or as well produced. It's not as high production as that, but yeah, I think really catchy songs all the way through. A lot of earworms for me.
Okay.
And really, again, yeah, I don't know, just really enjoy that. I don't know if you listened to this one.
I did. I tried. It was on my advertisement full listening experience on Spotify. So I gave it a couple listens, and I couldn't get there.
Yeah.
But I did try. Next up for me is number 12.
Yeah.
And this is another group that I got from your recommendation, a band called Hurry. Their album Don't Look Back, out on Lamo Records. This is their fourth full-length release. Their band out of Philadelphia. I feel like the world is in desperate need of good, decent power pop. it's not much of it is coming out these days in my mind. Maybe I'm wrong. And this just really fills that need. I'm hearing a lot of one of our Minneapolis favorites, the Hang Ups, also maybe a little bit of Teenage Fan Club with them. Just almost every track on the record, high quality, great pop tune.
Yeah, I'm glad you like that one. I thought that one might be something that you'd be able to sink your teeth into.
Yep.
Yeah, there's kind of a nice music scene there in Philadelphia. That's kind of most, not too big on a national scale, I guess, but a lot of good stuff. My number 12. It's another full of veterans. This is Slow Dive. So my number 12 is Slow Dive's album Everything Is Alive. So their fifth LP. Again, kind of a legendary UK band. I don't rate it as high as their self-titled from 2017, and I can get where a lot of people have struggled to connect with this album, but I still love it. I don't know. Like the self-titled from 2017 is probably my number one album of 2017, and this is it's just a different kind of record. But yeah, I still like it. I know you're not too huge on them, I don't think, right?
I mean, I like them, and at first listen, I was not that into it, but there are some really great tracks on it. Even though, the vocals, they don't do a lot of upfront vocals, and I think there's a couple of instrumental tracks, and so it leaves the record a little bit disjointed for me, but really good. It's on my honorable mentions list for the year, I would say, for sure.
Okay.
My next one, number 11, Bonnie Prince Billy. Keeping Secrets Will Destroy You, out on Drag City Records. I think it's like his 24th-ish full-length record, something like that. I mean, he's one of those guys where it's ridiculous to even count, because there's been so many records and collaborations and, Palace Brothers and, all these different groups he's in or collaborations he's done. But, so new one from him. It's just a great, solid record from the Prince of indie folk rock. He usually does not disappoint. So yeah. What are your thoughts? Did it make it?
Yeah, it didn't make my top 20, but it's on my wider list.
Sure. Your top 150.
Yeah, so you're right, he has a lot of albums and a lot of those collaborations with different people, but I think that his flagship Bonnie Prince Billy records are all really strong.
Yep.
Actually, even many of the other ones are as well, but I think those are very reliably strong. What I'm going to call his flagship solo records, if you want to call it that. Really polarizing. I don't know. Some people can't vibe with his vocal style. Which I can totally get. That people find that a bit of a turnoff. But no, I thought that was really, really good album.
Yeah, some people are turned off by him. I worked with a guy at a record store, probably almost 20 years ago now, that was just terribly creeped out by him. Like he thought, he was just really, he thought it was really creepy. But anyway, my next one is...
I'm next.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wasn't that your number 11?
Let's do the rest of my list.
You just want to keep going? Anyway, well, my number 11 is Vanishing Twin, their fourth album, which is called Afternoon X. I don't really have anything insightful to say. Vanishing Twin, at one point, it was a collaboration of people on, several different continents. There were people from all over the place that collaborated in this effort. Now it's less so, more of a London-based group. I think this is maybe a little bit more out there, less immediate, less less hits, if you want to say again. But I still think worth your time, and I think it kind of again is one of those that rewards the more time you spend with it type of thing.
Yep.
I know some people say that when I say that's like they think that that the first time you listen to it, that should be it. But anyway, yeah. So that's my number 11. Okay. I don't know if you listened to that one.
I did. Maybe. Yeah, I listened to that when I reviewed it. It's I liked it a lot, but I feel like there was one really strong track, and then everything else just kind of didn't measure up to me. But yeah, I dug them. I'm remembering that they kind of sound a little bit like Stereolab. Am I making that up, or
no? There's a little bit of that. Yeah, there's a little bit of that.
Stereolab influence, which is always great. You don't get that every day. So. All right, so my next one, back on track here, Jeff Rosenstock, album called Hell Mode, out on Polyvinyl Records, 7th full-length record from this New York-based solo artist. This is about as pop punk as I get. He's not from a scene that I would normally get into, but he's been around for 15-ish years, something like that, in different bands. This one, it's just a lot of really great rock tunes on it. It's pretty heavy, like I said, pop punkish. So definitely those vocals. But yeah, it really surprised me. Really dug it. Reminds me a lot of the band Waves, sort of that vibe to it. But yeah, good stuff. Did you check that out at all? Probably not your normal thing.
So I actually like Jeff Rosenstock. There's a couple of his albums that I really like, but I have not listened to Hell Mode. It's what it's called, right? I just have not listened to it. It just didn't
get there.
I can't get to everything, I guess.
No.
I don't know. So are you a fan of other Jeff Rosenstock records?
No, this is my first experience. I wasn't familiar with him.
Okay. Yeah, I would just be curious to compare and contrast with some of his other records. There's one
for another video.
I can't remember the names of things for some reason, especially when I'm in the middle of making a video. There's one of them that I really like a lot. One of his solo records I really like a lot. And he was in Bomb the Record Industry.
Yep. That's what he's known for. Yep.
All right. My number 10 then is the third LP band from Pamplona, Spain, called Melenas. It's the name of the band, all female group. The album is called Ahora. The first two records were more garage rock, maybe a little psych jangle thing going on. Here it's got still some of that, but has gone more with analog keyboards, motoric beat, kind of more krautrock influence, more like maybe a little bit of what Unintended Anna does. Yeah, I don't know. I've liked all their albums, and there is concern whenever there's this kind of change that happens, but it worked for me. And I do think that there are, it's not totally out there. It's still accessible, I guess is what I would say.
Okay.
I don't know if did you listen to that one?
It came up on my radar, but I never got around to it. I don't spend a lot a time with, is it?
And it's in Spanish. It's all in Spanish. Yeah. That one is all in Spanish. Yeah.
I don't normally spend a lot of time with foreign language stuff, but I certainly should.
No, I know a lot of people, that's a deal breaker right off the top.
Yeah. I mean, if I can't understand what they're saying, for the most part, it's a tough sell, but hey, this is music, international language. I wish I had time to delve further into Spanish and Latin stuff, but I just don't get there. Anyway, so my next one is number 9. Be Your Own Pet, album called Mommy, out on Third Man Records. Probably not a surprise because we did cover this in the previous video. This is their 4th full-length record. They are recently reunited, Nashville, Tennessee band, female-fronted. Definitely, if you look at the cover, read some of the tracks, listen to some of the songs, it's a little campy, oversexed subject matter going on here, and I just I'll just keep on repeating, don't get distracted by it. It's really unimportant. It's just a really killer hard rock record, and happy to finally be aware of them. I was not aware of their previous work. So yeah, that's my number 9. I know you listened to it because we covered it previously.
Yeah, we talked about it. I think, it's a fun rock record. I think that'd be one way to put it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my number 9 is, I guess, like a noise. We can say noise pop duo from Paris called Special Friend. The album is Wait Until the Flames Come Rushing In. First time I talked about this band, so this is a band from France, but one of the members is American. One of them's from Paris. But they're based in France, but they sing in English, so they're not singing in French. I know that, so that's one thing. But it's a boy girl duo. I really like that. A lot of the times, I don't know, and yeah, I really like this record.
Yeah, I gave it a try.
And
it did come up in a number of your videos, in your top 10 most listened to thing too. Yeah, just for whatever reason, I just didn't. I tried it out a couple times and I couldn't get there. But yeah, did try to listen to it. Number 8. My number 8 is Beach Fossils, their album Bunny, out on Bayonet Records. Just another great record from a band I was not fully aware of until just recently for some reason, even though they're a lot like some of the other bands I've listened to in the past 5 years. Blame the fact that there are just too many beach titled indie bands. They need to change their name. No, I'm just kidding. Beach Fossils, Beach Slang, Beach House. I mean, it's just too many beaches to keep track of.
I had a video probably years ago now. I just put a list of all the beach bands at the end of it, I think, or somewhere in it. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know what that's about, but yeah, I just on repeated listen just recently to sort of reassess. I mean, there's just a lot of really great songs on it that undeniably enjoyable. Really solid record. So that's my number 8.
Yeah, and I have that. I talked about it. I do like it. Probably don't like it as much as you from the sounds of it, but I do like it.
Yep.
Yeah, my number 8 is the Lawrence, Kansas band called Sweeping Promises. The album Good Living Is Coming for You. So it's kind of raw, catchy, post-punkish band. Kind of lo-fi a little bit, I guess. Not all of it, but some of it's kind of lo-fi. Yeah, really, just a really solid band. High energy and fun. That's what I'm gonna say. I think you like this one.
I did.
No?
I did. I liked it quite a bit. It almost made it to the list. It was at like number 23 or something, so I had to cut it. But really, really dug it. Good stuff from them. My next one is number 7. Is Blonde Redhead. Their new record called Sit Down for Dinner, out on Section 1 Records. It's their 10th full-length release, I believe. I could be 1 or 2 off there. Which is probably the most accessible work so far, which makes sense why I would like it so much. I'm a little on the poppier side, but yeah, just a really, great record. Their other stuff, I've always liked them and have followed them for years, but a lot of their stuff I've just found to be a bit abrasive. That's kind of part of their sound, but this one is has a lot of good poppier tracks on it, I found. So I really, really dug it. What about you?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the band. I didn't find myself going back to this new one. Again, it's probably a function of needing to spend more time with the album,
Sure.
and just not getting to it. But I'm a fan of theirs for a long time as well. Oh, my number 7. This is the only one that I haven't talked about in some other fashion somewhere else. This is another Parisian band. And this is one where I probably wouldn't have been on board until later, but I was made aware of it in advance, through somebody, through these videos, but they're called Pop Crimes, and the album is Gathered Together. It's debut LP. It has members or former members of a lot of other different bands, including I believe one of the founding members of Unintended Anna. So it has kind of the hooks that brought me in. But it's just kind of I don't know, high energy, shambolic rock record, jangly, a little bit,
Okay.
rough around the edges. Kind of every time I listen to it, I feel like there's a different track that stands out to me. So
Mhm.
it really is, rewards repeated listening. How many times can I say that? Yeah, it hooked me right away. In like certain songs hooked me right away, and then when I listened to it again, like now this song I really like. Now this song I really like. It's that kind of thing.
Okay. Is this
Yeah.
the one
Anyway.
you're still waiting for to come
Yeah.
in on vinyl?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not familiar. I'll have to check that out. Sounds pretty good. I think we're at number 6.
Number 6.
My number 6 is Cutworms. We talked about this one before. Self-titled Cutworms out on Jaguar Records. Third proper full length from this New York-based artist named Max Clark. If you like indie pop, but you still enjoy some oldies every now and then, like some Buddy Holly is a key reference here. I think you like this record a lot. Just something innocent about his delivery and his lyrics. Yeah, I just really really dug this record. It's very charming. There's nothing sinister about it at all.
Nothing sinister. Okay.
No.
Yeah. So we talked about that one, as
Yep.
you said. Yeah, it didn't do as much for me. I like what he's doing. I
Yeah.
think is what I would say. Like it's unique. There's not a lot of other
No.
current artists doing that style. I mean, maybe I'm sure there are, but not a
Yeah.
lot that I'm aware of.
Well, the last one that comes to my mind is I think it was a band called Girls. They had sort of a unique blend of oldies in their stuff, but they're, I think, now defunct and haven't been around a while. But yeah.
Yeah. So my number 6 is the Melbourne like shoegaze band called Flying Colors. The album is called You Never Know. This is their third LP. I think this is a more diverse set of music than their earlier albums, certainly than their first album. But I don't think it suffers from it. I think it's still strong, obviously. definitely not for somebody that doesn't like shoegaze. It has a lot of the shoegaze tropes, like with the buried vocals, you know, feedback, that kind of stuff. Like I feel like you would take issue with the vocals not being out front. I don't think. Have you listened to this album?
I have. It's. I think I watched your video of the top 10 most listened to or whatever, and that was one of the ones that I was not aware of, so I downloaded it and gave it a couple listens, and it's in the queue right now to be reviewed, and I'm digging it so far. Yep. But yeah, the vocals aren't as prominent. Yeah. So up next is number 5 for me.
Number 5.
Huh? Yep.
Number
Number
5.
5. Top 5 people. So this was one that snuck up on me. I did not expect. It is a LA band by the name of Provoker, and they had their Provoker.
Okay.
Provoker, yeah. They had their second record called Demon Compass come out on the Year One record label a number of months ago. I think it was like October. Yeah, it really snuck up on me. It pulled me in on the strength of one song. I got so attached to that one song that it made me listen to the record over and over again and sort of started warming up to the rest of it too. But they just have a little different sound that I wasn't quite expecting to enjoy. It's an interesting mashup of it's almost an R&B inflected or influenced vocals with like a sort of a thriller movie score. You could also make some comparisons to like the Strokes. It'd be like if the Strokes was and they had the guy from Twin Shadow as the singer, is what I would throw out there just to give some people some references. But really good record. I am looking forward to hearing more from them. Provoker Demon Compass is the number 5 for me.
Wow. So I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if I even heard of that. Maybe I don't know. So yeah, that's one I'll have to take a look. See if I can listen to it. My number 5. This is kind of a one I was anticipating a bit because I like their first album. It's San Francisco, another Bay Area band called this one's Sea Blight. The album is called Lemon Lights. It's kind of a dream pop thing with shades of like Lush, like the band Lush. Then also kind of just the jangly indie pop thing going on. Really like the first album. I think the first album might have more hits. I think this is probably what I said when I talked about this record before. The first album might have more hits, like standout tracks, whereas I think this album is more maybe complete top to bottom. Yeah, I'm a fan. Sea Blight, Lemon Lights. I think that's on Mount St. Mountain Records.
Okay. Yeah, this is, I think you mentioned this one a couple videos ago, and I made note and I backtracked and checked it out. And you were correct. I enjoyed it a lot. It was another one of those that was right on the cusp, right in the mid 20s. So it didn't quite make the list, but I enjoyed it a lot.
Good.
Next up, number 4 for me, Aesop Rock, Integrated Tech Solutions out on Rhymesayers. We already talked about this. We don't need to belabor the point. What's your number 4? Douche.
Yeah, so my number 4 is, I think, from Austin, band called Being Dead, When Horses Would Run is the name of the album. Yeah, so it's I think primarily, or at least originally, was a duo. Now I think it's like a trio. The Falcon Bitch and Gumball are the two primary the two primary, I
Okay.
think, members. And it's like they live in their own like alternative reality, and like they're all in on this. Like they got their own weird thing going on, and they're bought in. Um, yeah, it has a great. I think it has a great sense of humor
Yeah.
that works for me. But yeah, I don't know. I think you listened to this one, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. No, I dug it. It's definitely charming for sure. The sense of humor there. I did not realize that the one of the members was named Falcon Bitch, which is that's great. I like that a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. It didn't really pack a whole lot of punch, hence it not really.
Before you move on to your number three,
Yeah,
um, no no crossover. I don't think there's zero crossover.
yeah. I'm surprised there has been zero overlap.
Yeah, so okay,
Although,
just I thought I mentioned it.
yeah, right. Yeah, I don't think there has
I don't
been.
think there's been ones where we probably both would have them,
Yeah,
outside. Yeah, but just the
yeah.
top 20 versus top 20. Yeah, no. Go ahead,
Okay.
just to mention it.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we're at number three. It's my turn, right?
Yep.
Um, my number three is Quasi,
Hmm.
breaking the balls of history out on Sub Pop. Ninth record from this Portland, Oregon based two piece. I was aware of the bands, but this album really brought them to sharp focus for me. Sam Coombs and Janet Weiss deliver a brilliant collection of culturally satirical tunes, full of sick burns and observations. That's my blurb for that.
That's your blurb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Quasi, and I have it, but not on. I have it in my broader list, but
Still no
not in my
overlap.
top 20.
Amazing.
No overlap.
Yep.
All right, my number three is another Australian band, third LP, kind of a post-punk new wave thing called RVG, which I think stands for Romy Vadger Group. An album called Brainworms. This is one where I think that the band is really sharp, and then the lyrics are even sharper. That's my little blurb on that. RVG, Brainworms. I don't know if you've listened to that one.
That was another one off of your recent video that I took note of, and I've been listening to it, and I'm digging it so far. I don't know. I don't think I'm missing out. I don't think it would arrive on my top 20, but I'm definitely digging it and happy to be aware of them now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something about the vocal delivery remind me a lot of Ezra Furman. I don't know if you're familiar. Is also, for some reason, musically, I thought there was a similarity there, just a little tinge of Manic Street Preachers for some reason. I don't know if that resonates for you, but yeah, good stuff that
maybe.
I have to check out. Yeah. Okay, number two. We're getting there. JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown, their first collaboration called Scaring the Hose, out on AWOL and Peggy Records. First collaboration from them, like I said. He is a New York MC producer. JPEG Mafia is, and Danny Brown is a Detroit MC that's been around for quite a while now. My awareness of Brown brought me to the record, but I left with an appreciation for JPEG Mafia, which I was not familiar with, and got to do some backtracking there. But overall, just the album was surprisingly funny, abrasive, sneaky, oddly catchy to a lot of the tunes that JPEG Mafia has strange ways of chopping up the music, and it's just it was really happy with this record. And I know we talked about it in previous video, so I know you listened to it, but
yeah, I think I like that. I think I like the A$AP Rock better on the hip hop side.
Sure, I can see that. Yep.
Yeah. Still no overlap. So that was your number two. That was your number two, huh? All right. My number two is another like debut LP London band. It features former members of Joanna Gruesome. The band is called The Tubs, and the album is Dead Meat. It's just kind of, I think this is the next level. Jangly, mature, but college rock meets like Richard and Linda Thompson meets like Copper Blue by Sugar. Like it's kind of has some like folk rock, some 80s college rock, and some like Sugar, like the band Sugar, Bob Mould. Sugar. I don't know. I feel like I'm like a lot of the, just take as an aside, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about, I get it. You know, I don't like not everybody's. I really think that this album is something that a lot more people should like, and I don't get the sense that there's a huge amount of
like it's super underrated. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it's so hard to tell. Yeah, I don't know. Did you listen to this?
I listened to this record early on. You had mentioned it, I think, in one of our like a second video for the year. So I took note and I checked it out. It didn't really jive with me. Something about the vocal delivery, I wasn't hearing the sugar. It just something about his vocals just kind of irritated me. But I persevered and I went back to it and downloaded it and I listened to it more and it's good stuff. And I actually even backtracked a little bit and dug into Joanna Gruesome a little bit because I was not aware of that. And I think the album from late last year from the X's? No, not X's. There's another offshoot, right?
Yeah.
That came out late last year that I really loved. So I was like, okay, I gotta like this. Let me just check it out a few more times. So yeah, I was not hearing the Bob Mould reference. Now I do. But yeah, it's good stuff. I'm curious to hear more from them for sure.
Yeah. So we're up to your number one.
Number one.
Do you think you? I was trying to think if I could guess what your number one is. Have we talked about it? Have we talked about it?
You want a hint? Huh? Okay. Yeah, we've talked about it.
I figured that it was something probably that we had talked about, and now I'm just not going to. Do you think can you guess what my number one is?
Well, I'm curious because I think this is where the only one where we're going to have overlap. So
you think so?
Yeah. Last chance.
Really?
Yeah.
Why don't you just go ahead? Why don't you just go ahead?
Okay. So In Intendant Anna is my number one record of the year.
I didn't. So when I said that I didn't think, or when I asked if we had talked about it, I meant like had we done like a full whatever chat thing. But okay, go ahead, keep going.
Yeah. No, we've talked about it a couple times.
Yeah, Principia. Yeah.
Just not in the main 2x2. Yep, Principia. Which I also like to pronounce as Principia, which I know is wrong, but it's fun. And that is out on Trouble in Mind. It's their third record. They're a band based out of Paris, France. You've talked about them many times, I'm sure, and referenced them a handful of times. It's just, you pointed out to me in one of our earlier videos, and I eventually got to it, and at first I just was not getting it, but every listen, I was like, I love this song now, and it just like similar to what you were talking about with that previous band. It's just every time you would listen to it, you would engage with a new track, and it's just I just love almost every song on the record. It's just so good. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, so that is my number one also. So we have one overlap.
One overlap, which is our number one. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I would just say again, similar to what you were saying, that I think that every time I listen to, I actually had to stop listening to this at some point in the, I don't know, I didn't want to burn out on it, but then when I
Sure.
came back to, then you come back to it and it's just like, yeah, like
Still good.
it's just that good. And I have probably watched, I think this is probably my favorite current band.
Yep.
For myself, but I've watched hours and hours and hours of live performances.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
ruined your algorithm, is what you're saying.
yeah. Well, actually, you'd think that's all I would be getting, but
yeah.
Actually, part of what springboarded my appreciation of them initially was in like 2020. So during their second album came out in 2020. I liked that a lot. I listened to it a lot, but there was one day I was vacuuming, and I had I had something on YouTube on the TV, and when I turned the vacuum cleaner off, it was like one of their performances in a nightclub in Paris.
Okay.
It was obviously there was hardly anybody there, but it was like so it was like an amateur, it was something that, where people like cell phone videos. I don't think that I ever really, it's not that I've posted that kind of thing. I've watched ones that people post, but it gave me a renewed appreciation for that kind of thing. People that post those kinds of live performances. And then I became more interested and watched more and more. And I think that seeing a band perform live, and this was in 2020, so what's happening in 2020. It enables you to engage just a little bit more.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm telling that story. But yeah, that's my number one album. That's means my top two albums are on the same record label. I felt a little weird about that. They're both on Trouble in Mind.
Okay. Wait, what was your number two? I've forgotten already. I'm sorry.
The Tubs.
The Tubs. Okay, I didn't realize that. Yeah,
that's also on Trouble in Mind.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah. I mean, the big performer for me was Third Man. Jack White's label is really doing it for me this past year. I had 3 records on my top 20 from Third Man.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it from that standpoint.
From a label perspective, you didn't do that analysis. You don't charts like I do. No, I'm just kidding.
I was very aware of the number 1 and number 2 because I do think it's so. Yeah. I have 3 in my top 10 on Trouble in Mind.
Oh, okay.
Because the Milena's also, yeah. But
well, I'm impressed that we. Go ahead.
Things like that kind of run in streaks. Like I don't have a ton of Sub Pop. Whereas some years I might have a handful of Sub Pop records. Sweeping Promises is on Sub Pop.
Well,
I guess,
usually my top 20 is made up of Merge, Sub Pop, Matador, but for whatever reason they're a little more diversified these days, and I'm just not jiving as well with it. But
yeah, I do think that kind of ebbs and flows. I think that they'll have maybe in another year or two they'll have a whole bunch of things that
there must be a lot of competition there nowadays, which surprises me. In that a new band comes out, there's probably a lot of interest or interest for whatever new hot band there is, and these labels will probably bid on them, and they just lose out. Maybe I'm making that up. I don't know, but yeah, it's pretty impressive that we only had one overlap.
Yeah, and it was number one. It's interesting.
That's just goes to show you there's a lot of good stuff out there.
Yeah, has your
not
top,
even these two douche/snobs can agree more than once.
Is your list already been posted, or will it be by the?
It has not, but I'll get it up this next week.
All right.
With
so that
my usual links to purchasing and listening and all that fun stuff. Yeah.
So I'll link to that in the description of this video. I'll also link to my video list of top 75, which has, it's maybe of interest to some people because it does have the sound clips, but they're very short sound clips. It's unfortunate, but the video is still too long because it's 75. Because it's 75 albums. I thought about cutting it up and doing 75 to 51 or whatever it would be.
Sure.
And then like that, but I'm like, come on. If someone's interested, they can watch it.
Yeah.
And they can do it in pieces.
And
if not, that's cool too.
Yep.
All right. So anything else you'd like to add as we sign off in 2023?
I just want to say thanks to you for inviting me to do this with you. It's been a lot of fun, and as I said, really pushed myself to listen to more stuff so we could compete in this way. And I don't think there's a clear winner this year. I think we're tied.
Yeah, I don't. It feels like a lot of losers to me.
Yeah. Everybody watching is the loser.
All right. I guess we'll.
Yeah, that's it. We should probably just end it.
Yeah, let's just end it.
Okay.